My name is Anita Goyal and I'm originally from Delhi. We came here about 16 years ago, and in June of 2004 I found a kind of enlargement in my throat, and I went to the doctor, my PCP, and he referred me to an endocrinologist who asked me to do some tests about the scans. And once the reports came in, he said, of course, you have enlarged enlarged thyroid. And he said maybe there could be three options: thyroiditis, or it could be lymphoma, or it could be thyroid cancer. So the doctor suggested that at that point we should get the surgery done, because it was not a very wise decision to have such a big lump in my throat. And during the surgery itself, they found out that I was having two different kind of cancers in my thyroid, which was lymphoma as well as thyroid cancer. And of course, I always had thyroiditis from the beginning. So I had combination of all three. And it was referred to as a textbook case, a kind of case which they had not seen in a while. The hospital itself had 4 or 5 cases like me in their entire history. So when I was given that news, I was totally shocked, numb. I just don't know whether I was breathing or not. And I think if my husband didn't help me at that point, I would have just crushed. But after talking to the specialist, and we had a good team of endocrinologists and oncologists who guided through me, and I had to go through chemotherapy. But definitely itself, telling my family about my disease, it was probably not an easy thing, as my husband could understand that these things happen, but I was not sure how my family would take such a kind of news back in India, because nobody in our family had this kind of problem before. What would they think about me? What would they brand me with? Or there were so many emotions going on, which was towards my health as well as what my family would think about me. But I was really, really lucky that my family did understand what I was going through, and they were a big support to me during my entire ordeal, other than my doctors. I was afraid more towards my in-laws, thinking that of course cancer, it's not like you get cold or cough or fever. It is some sort of stigma is attached to it, that what the hell, what kind of a person did my son got married to? How is he going to live? What happens if she just passes away? How is he going to live? Or my son is not going to take care of her his whole life, and she has just ruined my son's life or our life. So I was really scared of those issues, that how they would think of me as being a bad person or a black sheep in the family. But luckily when I told them, they did understand, and they were a big support for me. My husband was with me throughout this. He went with me to the doctor when the news was formally broken to me. The doctors had already told me before, most probably it could be lymphoma, but once the final report came in, my husband was with me, and he was extremely supportive, and he said, no matter what, we are going to fight it. My daughter was in 2nd grade at that time. She did not understand what cancer means or what it could lead to. But what she knew was that my mom is not too good and I have to make her feel better. So she was always kind of helping in whatever way she could, by giving me hugs and by keeping herself cold-free, cold and cough-free, because if she would get sick, then I would get sick. So she really sacrificed a lot by not meeting her friends or going to the beaches or going to any place where she could get sick. And my in-laws did come from India to help me out, and I'm so thankful to them that without my mother-in-law, I don't think I could have been able to cope up with it, because she made sure that I eat in time, I eat healthy, and she would always make fresh food for me, and always, she literally hugged me, and she said, well, your mother is not here, but I'm your mom. So I'm with you all the time. And she would hug me and sleep with me. And sometimes that would give me so much of, I felt like a baby in front of her. And that really helped me out, that I'm not alone. Everybody is with me. So the whole family was with me in my fight against it. I got my chemotherapy. I did not use any alternative treatment except, I would say, I went for meditation and spiritual healing. That I did. It gave me a lot of peace of mind, but no other other medical treatments. No, I didn't. Initially, I had a surgery for my thyroid, and between the surgery and the final diagnosis, I was totally under stress. I could not talk to my husband about it. I was very scared to talk about him, though both of us knew it is what it is going to be. But somehow I didn't have the nerve to talk to him about it. We were just waiting for the final diagnosis. My husband didn't talk to me about it openly. I didn't talk to him. But when we went to the doctor and when it was told, my husband promised me that he would always be with me, and no matter what happens to me, I will always look very beautiful to him, and that gave me a lot of faith. That was the first time I felt I'm not alone, my husband is with me, and no matter how I look, what I look during the treatment, he will always be with me, and he just kept his promise. So that was the first boost he gave it to me, and he encouraged me to talk about it. He said, unless you have faith in the treatment we are going to start, nothing is going to help me. So he was the first one to say, develop that faith in God, in some superior power, and once you have that, then have that faith. Whatever medication my doctors are giving it to me, accept it as a gift. Don't think it's your curse or it's a poison which they're giving it to you. Accept it as a gift, and that's not the poison but the opposite, and it's going to heal you. And he encouraged me to go talk to people, talk about it, help other people. If I see other people in the same position, talk to them, just give them some hope. And giving other people hope gave me hope that everything would be fine. That was one of the worst phases. Before the treatment started, I asked my oncologist that what would I feel? And he said, well, that is one question he could not answer because different people have different outcomes and different symptoms. So I was so scared of that, losing hair and vomiting and throwing up and not able to move and just lying in bed the whole time, that we decided to send our daughter to my aunt's place because I just didn't have courage to take care of it. She was a kind of a kid at that time. So I said, okay, let's pack her bags and send her. At least I won't have the stress of taking care of my child. But then my doctor suggested that during this kind of a disease or treatment, it's better to feel as normal as possible so that you don't feel sick. The main idea is to feel that you're fine and you're not sick. So I was kind of a little bit hesitant in the beginning, but I said, okay, let me just stick to what my doctors are suggesting, and we decided to keep our daughter with us. And I think that was a very good decision we did because she helped me think other than myself. I had to do certain things for her which nobody else could do. So it was good that we decided to keep with us. But the time between the diagnosis and before we started the treatment, it was a very scary part, up till the part I had my first chemo. And again, I would say, I would give all that credit to my husband who said, just don't think it to be a medication, think it to be your life savior. So that's how we started, with a prayer in my mind, and there was no other choice for me. I didn't want to go for any other possible treatment except what was more conventional and which I knew what I was getting into, and I knew I had all the best doctors with me. So I had faith in my doctors. Whatever they are doing, I'm ready to accept it. But once my first cycle was done, I learned a lot from my first cycle because I didn't know what to do, how to eat, when to rest, how much to eat. So the kind of medications they were giving me, I was hogging food. In some way it was good, at least I was getting the nutrition, but I felt like throwing up because I was eating so much right in the middle of the night, and a lot in one serving. So next time when I had a chemo, I learned that, okay, eat frequently, but eat small portions. And during my 6 cycles, every time I learned something new from my previous one. So I never stopped learning from my previous mistakes which I did or things which did not suit me. I kept on improvising on up till my chemo was over. No, I never hid anything from my family and friends, never, even for once. I think I went out of the way to talk to other people about my feelings and my emotions. Sometimes I cried about it, sometimes I would laugh about my bald head, but I guess those kind of combinations kept me going. I would not wear a wig, or I would only wear a cap because the doctors had told me not to expose my head to sun. But that was the only time I wore a cap, and in the evenings I would enjoy a breeze on my bald head. And I would laugh about it. See, I'm enjoying the breeze. You want to have some taste of it? So the small things helped me going through it. Small, but in some way they were huge, huge. First of all, never take your health lightly. Whenever you feel you have something wrong with any of your body parts, see, you know your body best. Nobody else knows it. So the moment you think there's something wrong, go to the doctor and follow all his advice. You are not the doctor. You don't know what's going on with your body. If I had not gone to the doctor, I would have never known that I had cancer in my throat. I could have just taken medication, the swelling would have gone down, and maybe I don't know where I would have been right now. So make sure you follow your doctor's orders, all his tests, and once you know what it is, let's say the doctor tells you, okay, you do have cancer, don't think it to be a death sentence. No, it is not. Try your best, I think, follow your doctor's orders, have a positive attitude that whatever it is, you have strength to deal with it, you can fight it, you can have some sort of action plans which would keep you physically and emotionally healthy, and you can just have a combination of good medication, good food, good mental and spiritual health, and believe me, it really works. Have faith, and that's the first point you should start from. Have faith in yourself, in your family, friends, and of course, doctors are those people who just put all those things together and make you feel better. Don't lie to your doctor or to yourself. The doctors say that I'm cured. They don't use the word remission now. They say I've graduated from that phase. And specifically, they say if I compare myself to a person who have never had thyroid cancer before or lymphoma, they say it's more or less the same percentage, maybe 1 or 2% more I have the chance of recurring. But otherwise, I'm kind of in the same category with a little bit teeny tiny more percentage. But they feel I'm cured. Of course, I go for my yearly checkups, and it's not a very healthy feeling. Even to this date, I have butterflies in my stomach. I literally beg the nurse, can you please tell me what my CT scan is telling you? And she would say, I'm just a nurse, I can't tell you, I'm sorry, doctor is going to call you. But I literally beg her. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I'm just waiting for the doctor's call to say everything is fine. That's what I'm waiting for. It's again never an easy thing to go for any test with respect to cancer. No, it's not. I still have butterflies.